You're listening to Catty and Lizzie. Stay tuned. Greetings and salutations, massive. Here is Andrew Robinson, all the way from Switzerland. You're tuning into Black Fire Radio.
Slimmy on the beat.
Sidai kuwa hero misi vengo na feel kwenda Dubai ni perform nipate bands nenda kudine beef yenyu uko jungle na puff nikiona sky miss land. Sidai kuwa hero misi vengo na feel kwenda Dubai ni perform nipate bands nenda kudine uko jungle land.
Nasikia lusha seku za kakuki. Nasikia lady mnafunguliwa books. Manega shodi wa ubeana matusi. Denge dingo safsha morio hali maututi. Lena stay in your lane. Nimedunga sleepers with a smile at the back. Did you check it from the near den? Wanna kept it serving the colon. Hey, this is some bombastic classic rap. Skia venye debe in a bang. Only thing that could force ni rubber. Hero Nikki Washani na feel like Jackie Chani. Pesa pina nyende ko.
Greetings and salutations, massive. Here is Andrew Robinson, all the way from Switzerland, reaching out to all my Kenyan brothers and sisters. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
Yes. Wagwan, beautiful people. How are you doing? Karibuni sana to another episode of the African Diary Show. My name is Katie, and I see everybody is with us in the building. You're saying there's no sound. I think we're good now. Please let me know if you can hear me. But in case you can't, let me know. I bet you can hear me right now. If not, let me know. But anyway, karibuni sana to another episode of the African Diary Show. And do remember, this is the show we get to discuss about a lot that is happening in the beautiful continent of Africa. And lately, there's no beautiful things coming from Africa. We've had a lot of shenanigans coming from Africa, from people eating each other, from people killing each other, from people being involved in different cults that are weird cults. But anyway, we are going to talk about different things that are happening in the beautiful continent of Africa. And also, we shall get to see about the dollar. You know, I've had so many people saying that the dollar is collapsing, and also we know that it is evident that the dollar is collapsing. But do you think that we are exaggerating that we are exaggerating at the rate at which the dollar is collapsing? Do let me know what you think about that as we getting started with our show for today. I see Sister Michelle in the building. Good morning to you too, Sister Michelle. Danny Harrison, I see you in the building. Samuel, I see you in the building. And also Sister Michelle is telling me you can hear me. Asanteni sana and karibuni sana as you get to join me. I started up the show with an amazing banger done by Depo Dice, and the song was Sidai Zilanda featuring King Kid. I hope you did get to jam onto it as we're getting started with our show for today. But in case you're there and you're listening to me via the radio, please make sure you also get to interact with us, because we're gonna have an amazing discussion on today's show. And also we shall talk about now the dollar. I told you we shall be discussing about the dollar, and I have a video to share with you as we continue with our show for today. But before we get back to the news and updates, or rather before I bring you the news and updates I have for you today, I of course have a quote of the day, and the quote of the day says, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says possible." Nothing is impossible, but the word itself, because the word itself says possible. Yes, that is my quote of the day. I hope you also have a quote of the day, because I wouldn't mind feeling motivated by you all. But anyway, let's get back to one more jam. Then we will be back with now the news and updates that I shall be bringing to you. And also, in case you have a quote of the day, I told you it is always nice to motivate a brother. It is always nice to motivate a sister. Always nice to help somebody out there who is feeling at their lowest. But anyway, this is Kulia Kushoto, and this is Femi One. I hope you get to jump onto it.
Vidina skill, kitenda, dorupe, kismat ni extra, shuple una feel. Pretender, sishtuke, dosta mapenda. Shipment kwa flight chapo kiatokea prima. Heta kotight nikitajwa na heshima. Breathe in, release, mapema. Jichunge, tenda na pressure. Frequenting flights niko jump tafuta pesa. Treatment ni right nikipula kwa sector. Distance na mic wanabuya nkitema. Mistake kutry kuvuruga utahema. 10 years ago nilikuwa juu ya double decker. Growth meko slow, looking back na jicheka. Kwa jaya mziki wangata mkiteseka. Industry queen wanangam nikibweka. Kulia kushoto, napita kati. Femini moto, oteana mbali. Mama watoto, alia machali. Najua musoto, mishtui na mali. Nafanya mziki, nafanya kazi. Natamba mjini, uskinko ndani. Toka mwiki, wadigo mtani. Nairobi City, tangu zamani. Yeah. Watu si wajenga, usijigeza kuna notisi na tuwa tunamesea. Sima geek, sima show, sima brand, tunamaze nikiongea. Wenzako wameketi over there, na mapepo ibada na zikemea. Mapala menizowea, uko si kwa panganga na umbea. Na tukoni wasani tukitokea. Last time perform, bado nakubati. Nani at the top, chapa kazi utafikiwa. Nasikia nikeflop, nilego imeshikilia na shindo nani amewa stop. Seta nyingeshikiliwa tufanane, inauma wakicheki tunalivwa na dream. Skina bande tapita get used to. Na kuna samahani ya chani speed vena feel. Hiya kaya mitabaki pepe kusu. Kulia kushoto, napita kati. Femini moto, oteana mbali. Mama watoto, nalia machali. Najua musoto, nishtui na mali. Nafanya mziki, nafanya kazi. Natamba mjini, uskinko ndani. Toka mwiki, badi wa mtani. Nairobi City, tangu zamani. Kulia kushoto, kabla mikro.
Yes, welcome back. That is Femi One, and the jam is Kulia Kushoto. I hope you did get to jam onto it. I see General Mosquito in the building. You're saying Amani Njeri. Amani to you too, General Mosquito. And nowadays you're calling me Njeri. It's okay. But anyway, karibu sana, and to everybody who is just joining us, karibuni sana. And before we get started with different conversations I have for you today, let's get to watch this video. And it is about now the fears about a dying dollar, or rather the fear about the dollar collapsing. And do you think that it is exaggerated? This is a video I came across, and I thought it would be nice to analyze it, because so many of us think that okay, the situation is that okay. We feel like sometimes people are exaggerating, but in the actual sense, I don't feel like people are exaggerating, because we're seeing now the heat every day, every day, every day. And right now, in so many food stores, we don't have food. In so many even countries that we see where now dollar so much, we're seeing now the inflation rate going high. But anyway, let's get to watch this video and also get to let me know what do you think about now the dollar collapsing. Do you think that it is being exaggerated that now the dollar is collapsing? Do you think that people are exaggerating that?
And I have a question. For all of our lives, the dollar has been the king of currencies around the world. But is that about to change? Let's get to the bottom line. What's happening to the almighty US dollar? For decades, it was the reserve currency of the international oil trade, which propped up its value and its demand from Albania to Zambia. But now more and more countries are making deals to trade oil in other currencies as an alternative to the dollar. And that raises questions about the current world order, which is run by the United States, period. China might be leading the way in the de-dollarization efforts, but more and more countries are jumping on that bandwagon, like Russia, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. How nations trade in oil and gas has helped keep the dollar, aka the petrodollar, at the top of the heap. Do recent shifts mean that America and the dollar are being downgraded as the world creates alternatives? Today, we're speaking with someone who really knows how our world's economy works and the important role of oil in all of this. He is Daniel Yergin, the vice chairman of S&P Global, historian, and Pulitzer Prize-winning author of several books, but most recently, The New Map, Energy, Climate, and the Clash of Nations. But in this, you foretold really the Ukraine crisis. You foretold what the world needed to worry about by way of various squeezes on oil and gas that could come, either through climate policies or from Russia weaponizing energy. As you look at it now, what's the situation?
Well, I think if you look at it now, of course, you've seen all these trends unfold. And I think no one, I mean, I did see a war coming over Russia and the West over Ukraine, didn't see it as something that would go on for over a year. And I don't think anybody did. Vladimir Putin certainly did not. He thought it'd be over in 5 days, and his troops brought their dress uniforms for a victory parade. There were a number of other big themes in the new map, but clearly the other that's so significant goes to what you're talking about the dollar, is the fact that the US and China have moved from what I called in the new map, the WTO consensus, we're all in it together, we're all in globalization, to this increasingly sharp, great power competition. And around the world, when I talk to the world leaders in different continents, they all say, we don't want to have to choose between one side or the other, but that's where we are now.
So where does this go? Because I think the way you just framed it is really interesting, because you end up with a very divided world, and you end up with Europe and the United States in one camp, maybe Japan. You end up with other parts of the world that may have, you know, India hedging its bets, Russia and China tying up. Is that a world where the transatlantic relationship has enough room to run?
Well, the transatlantic relationship has become a lot more important, especially since this war started.
I think I lost my main video, but also on that video, it was all about these people. It was the two guys are still talking about the dollar collapsing. But now my question is, do you think that people are exaggerating that now the dollar is collapsing? We know that it is collapsing, but do you think that the situation is that bad? Do let me know what you feel about that, because I'll not share that video because I lost the link to the original video. I was looking for it on my phone, but I'm not finding it. So we'll just continue with our show for today. In case I find that video, I'll share with you maybe later, or rather maybe as we continue with our show for today. But moving on to other news and updates, let's get to see what is happening in other countries. Like we saw yesterday, we were talking about Sudan, and we saw actually it was the European countries trying to evacuate their people. But right now, I've seen a first batch of students being evacuated from Sudan to Kenya, and that was a good thing. But also, I feel like Africans, when it comes to our people, we keep on lagging behind. Like, we don't prioritize our people, because we were supposed to be the number one people taking care of our own people. But I see somebody saying, no bottom run here, face red, droopy eyes. And also I see you saying, yeah, it is a little exaggerated, but the dollar is on life support still. Yes, but I feel like now we exaggerate things too much, because now, since we saw the dollar depreciating, we saw a lot of people talking about, the dollar is doing this, in the next few years. But I feel like we are exaggerating matters that so much. But anyway, even if there's that exaggeration, the dollar is still depreciating every day. It is still now falling every day. And how do we see this? We see this in our own countries. We see this now happening in countries like Kenya, because we've seen the inflation going too high. And do remember, we all depend on the central banks. And now when the central banks now start controlling our currencies, or rather when they are controlling our currencies, we have now to start looking at our currency in a dollar form. And I feel like this is why we really need our own currency. We've been talking about cryptocurrency, and which is this other currency? But this other currency, which is this currency? I don't remember. Cryptocurrency and okay, I'm forgetting that name. But anyway, we've been talking about now introducing cryptocurrency in our own countries. But has it worked? No, it hasn't worked, because these people, they want now, the moment that dollar keeps on depreciating, now we will keep on feeling the heat. And also we shall now continue feeling, the dollar is being controlled by the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller. But now in Africa, a country like Kenya, we use shillings. But the moment now they are controlling that, and they are able to control our shillings, we will always feel the heat when the dollar is depreciating. We will always feel the heat when the dollar is also appreciating, because at the end of the day, we're not benefiting in any way in that dollar. And right now, as we remember, it was there was a day I reported about Kenya, and it was about now the Kenyan government saying that it doesn't have money to pay the civil servants, and it said that we will not take loans again to pay the civil servants. But what did they do? Imagine what they did. And this is why our countries are dying, because of inflation. These guys went and printed a new currency, not new currencies. They printed a new note. They printed a banknote, and this is crazy. When you're trying to fight something in your country, you're trying to raise the economy, but you're the same person bringing your economy down, pulling your economy down. I see, Sister Michelle, you're telling me it is Bitcoin. That is not the actual word I was looking for. There's cryptocurrency and what currency? If I remember that name, I'll say. But anyway, I'm saying what Kenya did is they went and printed a new banknotes, not new banknotes. They went and printed banknotes. And now they were able to pay the civil servants. And then after that, it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, when the president of Kenya said that all civil workers will be deducted 10% of what they earn, because we need to take this money somewhere else. And I'm like, wow, it was the other day we didn't have cash to pay these people. Now you printed banknotes, and then when you come back, the money is still not yet enough, because this is what he's trying to show us. The money is not enough to pay you, but we still have to show you that we have money as a country. But it is crazy because we see so many people like in Kenya, or rather so many people in Africa. Like also let's talk about a country like Ghana. We've seen Ghana was bailed out actually by the IMF. It was bailed out of the debt. They were bailed out of the debt. And what happened later, we saw them also requesting for another loan. And now this is what I'm telling you. Like African countries, we've grown in a way that we have poor governance. We have even poor ways of spending our money. And then when it gets now to complaining, we start complaining, and then we are the same people pulling our economies back. Because we saw Ghana going there, pleading the president of Ghana, this is Nana Akufo-Addo, going to plead with the IMF, please bail us out. And they were bailed out. And then this is like they were bribed to take now a new loan, a new debt to their country. But I see, Samuel, you're saying most fiat currency are most fiat currency lasts 100 years, and American fiat are pretty on a mark now how much. Yes, I don't understand what Samuel you're trying to say, but anyway, I feel like now we as African countries, we need to start controlling our own money, and we need now to start bringing this cryptocurrency and also this like the money we are able to control. Because if we keep on now depending on the dollar, the moment the dollar is depreciating, the moment our currency is still depreciating, and we shall be feeling the heat every day. And it is crazy and also very sad to see now we're feeling the heat of a country that is or a continent that is depending on us. Because these people, we say that these people cannot live without us, but now what has happened is that we are made to live without them, and it is very, very sad. But anyway, do let me know what you think about the matter as we continue. Do let me know, do you think that now we exaggerate so much when it comes to the dollar depreciating, or rather the dollar collapsing? Because we keep on talking about the dollar collapsing, saying that we don't have enough money in the system, yet we are also the ones bringing these problems to ourselves. Let me know what you think about the matter as we continue with our show for today, and also as we get to see what people are saying. But moving on to other news and updates, I see desperate Kenyan students are considering fleeing back to the border of Khartoum, and it is crazy, you know. They consider freeing from the border of Khartoum, or from the border of Sudan and Kenya, because I've seen these people, they were evacuated. We were to talk about actually on our topic today, how African countries are trying very hard to evacuate Africans are from now their countries. Not really trying very hard, because if these people are willing to evacuate their people, they would have done it a long time ago. But right now I've seen we have Kenyan students stranded in a border just because the embassy is not responding. The embassy is not responding. Nobody is talking to them. Nobody is even considering what these students are doing there. They are eating even there. It's just like the matter of the asylum seekers, where we saw the asylum seekers are being brought up from the UK to Rwanda. They were stranded at the border, where now they had nothing to eat. They were starving, and it is very, very, very sad. Imagine now these people, they were evacuated, yes, from a war-torn area or a war-torn zone, but now they are put in a situation of starvation, sleeping on the floor, and they are exposed to so many things. It is very sad. But I see Kid, you're saying that's why Africans are considered the beggars of the planet. Yes, I guess. And it is because we tend to depend on the Europeans so much, rather than making sure these people depend on us so much. You know, we are the prize here, but we give them the opportunity to brag to us and also control us, and they feel like they are the prize, yet we are the prize. But I see General Mosquito, you're saying, Jerry, I love how you pronounce our useless president's name. You say it perfectly. Nana Akufo-Addo. Oh my God. Thank you very much. I see Danny Harrison in the building. Karibu sana, Danny Harrison. You're saying African countries are always kept on the verge of collapse on purpose. That's the reason for puppet leaders. They perpetuate this through wasteful spending. Yes, this is always there's always a reason to make sure that Africa is in poverty. Africa is always trying to die. You know, we are like trying to survive. Africa is like trying to survive because we depend on these Europeans so much. But imagine, I keep on saying, imagine one day we wake up and decide we are going to work with the Europeans. But remember what I told you, we can never be trade partners with the Europeans because they want to oppress us. But imagine one day, just imagine, okay? This is just imagining. Imagine one day we as the African continent just wake up and decide, yes, I'm going to work with you, but I have to benefit from what we are doing here with 70%, 60%. Just imagine, okay, we don't even want them to give us the 100%. Just imagine we would be taking the 70% of whatever they are gaining from us. How far would we be? We would be very far. But just because we're not opportunistics, we don't take opportunities every time. We want these people to feel like they are entitled over us. This is why they will keep on taking advantage of us. This is why they will keep on gaining everything or stealing everything from us. Right now, we're talking about the dollar collapsing. Imagine if we had our own currency that we are controlling. Would we even ever feel about now? Would we be suffering about the dollar collapsing? No, we wouldn't. Nobody should be feeling the heat of the dollar, or rather the effect of the dollar in Africa, because we have now our own currency that we are able to control. You know, Africans, one thing we've learned, one of the biggest things we've failed to be taught. And I'll keep on saying this because I did business in high school. But in business, we were not taught, I think, the common things that we need to have, the basic knowledge that we need to have. We were just taught the knowledge of doing business, but not the basic knowledge. You know, this basic knowledge of doing business. When you're doing a business and maybe you're a trader, you're supposed to be spotting opportunities every time. Yeah? Okay, this is a school. I can be able to bring maize to them at this rate. This is another school. You know, you're not supposed to be like sitting there waiting for opportunities to come to you. You're supposed now to be taking those opportunities, grabbing the opportunities even that come along your way. But now as Africans, we have not been taught the correct businesses. And this is why the Europeans will keep on taking advantage of us. Yes, we talked about the gold mafias. Nothing has happened. While we know the Zimbabwean president, the Zimbabwean president, President Mnangagwa, is one of the major culprits in this thing. But what has happened so far? Nothing, because we are afraid of them. Because we are even afraid of our own people. Because we feel like these people are superior than us. But we as African people, I even don't want, I even say, okay, it is okay. These Europeans want to take advantage of us. But what if now we go maybe a mile ahead of them and tell them, yes, okay, you want to do business with us. We will do business with you. But I will get 60% of what you're making. because you're using my resources, or rather 70%. Imagine just getting 70%. Leave the 30% alone. Imagine getting the 70%. We saw how much money they make in gold every year. Imagine getting 70% of that. Our countries would be developed. And then, when you're a business person, or rather, when now you are doing businesses with people, or rather you're employed somewhere, you don't live there to be employed forever. So you learn to become an entrepreneur. So the moment now we gain this 70% and we see how this 70% is taking us, we would now be brighter enough to make sure that now we are mining our own gold, marketing our own gold, and we get 100% profit because we are able to market our own gold. We are able to take it to we are able to sell our own gold without even using this these chains. We have now people who are brokers who are always there trying to broke our gold, but Africans, we've not learned to be opportunistic. But anyway, I see General Mosquito, you're saying we are always asking for handouts. Yes, very true, we are always asking for handouts, but imagine if we learned to stand again on our feet, we would be rich. But Africa is rich. Africa is rich. We just kept stupid, and we also, but not all of us are very stupid, because you can't tell me a president like Mnangagwa, he knows what he's doing. He knows, but also this man is very stupid. Look at people like we know. Okay, let's talk about Mnangagwa, because we know he was one of the people who are closely involved with the gold thing, or the gold smuggling. This person should actually be the person who is the richest in the continent, because if you're able to sell gold privately and you bring wealth to your country or to yourself, you're supposed to be the richest person ever known in Africa. Because why are these people coming, taking your gold, and they end up being rich than you? Because you don't even have the right knowledge with you. You just here for that small cash. You think that is money, and this is now how we are fooled, and it is crazy. But I see Kid, you're saying exactly 100% Katie, and also you're saying exactly 100% Katie, and you're saying no, you wouldn't, Katie, at all. Yes, we wouldn't be suffering. We would be very rich. We would be very rich. And also you're saying then you would be rich again, Katie. Yes, exactly. We would be rich again, and our countries would be the best. Would be the best on this world or on this earth, but we don't take opportunities. We don't take. We consider ourselves. You see, you've seen those people who wish to be employed forever. It's like we locked in that cycle of being employed forever. Africa has been kept like that. You always are being taken advantage of. You want to be a worker of somebody who is superior than you, somebody who is actually even taking advantage of you. Because I believe a worker, or rather an employee, should be working in a very conducive environment. But now these people we are working for, our employers, are taking advantage of us. But Africans, we've been kept like that. We've been kept in a dangerous condition. This is a dangerous condition because we're not growing ourselves. People are taking advantage of whatever we have, and at the end of the day, they are benefiting instead of us benefiting. We kept in poverty. We remain in poverty. How many years have we been in poverty? So many years, just because we locked in that mentality of the Europeans being our employers and us being the employees. It is crazy. But anyway, moving back to that story of stranded students of Kenya in the border, it is also a sad news coming from African countries. We need to do better. Imagine We have countries that like the UK, we have the US, we have we talked about Germany, we talked about so many European countries evacuating their people who are stranded in the Sudan or in Sudan. But now we as the African countries, we are evacuating our people and then go to leave them stranded somewhere in the border, leaving them without food and water, medication, leaving them sleeping on the floor. It's better than to leave them die there where they will be shot and they are forgotten. You know, it is crazy. Africans, man. And this is why I keep on telling you, these governments, they don't keep us as the number one priority. They don't prioritize us at all. Right now, on the media, everything that is going around is how African nations are getting their citizens out of Sudan. But where are they leaving them? Are they making sure that these people get back to their homes? No. Kenya has taken their students from Sudan, but where has the students been left? Imagine the students were left to sleep on the floor without food and water. They are stranded on the border. Yet, the media is here broadcasting about how African nations are getting their citizens out of Sudan. It is bad and pathetic to be talking about something. And man, it is sad. You know, we saw even and the UK came with aeroplanes to rescue their people, but African people, we were the last, and this is because now I feel like we felt challenged and we needed to do better. We needed to go and get those people, and just because we don't care about them that much, we just want to show that we are caring about you a little bit. This is why you take me, you leave me, and this is how the media spread propaganda, talking about African nations getting their citizens out of Sudan. Where are these citizens right now? Have you investigated where these citizens have been left? We have students lying on the floor without food and water, yet you're talking about how they are being rescued by their governments. And I feel very sad for these people. But anyway, let me read something for you. This is one of the students who are stranded in the border, and he's saying, I'm exhausted and weak. Says a 25-year-old Mumia Dawe, who is sheltering in a mosque in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, without food, water, or medication while suffering from flu and severe symptoms. She is among a group of Kenyan students who say their call to embassy are going unanswered. I spoke to her on Monday about her situation, and part of her campus at the International University of Africa in Khartoum has been occupied by one of the rival military forces are fighting in the city. After many days of waiting for help, an intermittent gunfire and explosions ring outside, the students are facing tough decisions. Days ago, some desperate students decided to flee to the Ethiopian border with their own money, she tells the BBC. Reports of their escape from the capital aired on Kenyan TV and gave Dawe's family false hope. So they are so disappointed to learn that she is still stuck in Khartoum. Imagine. And this is a Kenyan TV broadcasting about how the Kenyan government has taken care of the students who are stuck in Khartoum. For now, she is sticking close to a group of friends, but as expectations and fear set in, some say they want to try their luck at escaping too. How are we sure that these students will get back to their homes? Yet, the media is here busy talking about how the governments, the African governments are taking care of their people. They have brought them back. You know, this one also I saw about, okay, let me just look for it real quick. I saw it talking about how Kenya has brought their people back to the country. Okay, let me just look for it real quick. And it is crazy how they are talking about this. Yet we know these are all lies. Okay, this one. First batch of evacuees from Sudan arrive in Kenya. Okay, and a plane carrying the first batch of Kenyan evacuees from Sudan landed at the airport in Nairobi on Monday night. The dozens of evacuees disembarked from a Kenya Air Force plane and were received by Defense Secretary Aden Duale. More evacuations are underway, with the Foreign Ministry on Monday stating that 3 evacuation programs were active. And why is the immigration not answering? Why are the borders not answering the calls of these students? Man, it is crazy. And as fighting continues in Sudan, a stream of European Mid-East, African and Asian military aircraft flew into Khartoum all day Sudan and Monday to extract foreign nationals who are moving past combatants at the city's tense front lines. A flight carrying 39 evacuees from Sudan land in Nairobi as part of evacuation efforts. The first successful evacuation flight has delivered 39 evacuees, of which 19 are Kenyans, 19 of Somalian nationality, and 1 evacuee is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You see, they are busy rescuing the Arabs, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and bringing them to Kenya. Yet your people are stuck. Lies. And the media is busy here bringing propaganda, and they don't even feel ashamed even for a second. The government of Kenya is rescuing even the Arabs, bringing them to Kenya shamelessly, and they gazette it and talk about how they are evacuating their nationals from the war-torn country. We should feel ashamed of ourselves, but do you think they care about that? No. As long as you had their people, 38 people who are evacuated, 39 people who are evacuated and brought back to Kenya, you're not even concerned because you think that the government is doing the most when it comes to evacuating its citizens. Yet they are going to rescue Arabs and bringing them to your country. Imagine. This is very sad. It is very sad. And this is the Cabinet Secretary of Ministry of Defense, Aden Duale, reporting about how they evacuated an Arabic person and brought them to Kenya. There was a lot of shooting and a lot of bombing going for almost 24 hours, and 1 evacuee tells AFP after disembarking the aircraft. Also, Saudi Arabia led the first reported successful evacuations on Saturday. And why do we have Saudi Arabians being brought to Kenya? You know, these governments are the worst. They are the worst. We are talking about students stuck somewhere without food and water, sleeping on the floor, hoping that their government is coming to rescue them. Yet their government is so busy rescuing the Arabs. Imagine. But I see, kid, you're saying if you could teach Africans your knowledge, Katie, you would be rich. But they say you're talking propaganda. Actually, they say we're talking propaganda. Yet the news they listen to are the ones spreading propaganda and complete lies. And also you're saying exactly 100%, Katie. That's what they do. These African puppets don't give a shit about their people. You see this again and again. Again, can you say Ukraine anybody? No. This is very sad. Imagine there are students there who are stuck without food and water. Yet the government or the people who these students are expecting to come and rescue them are busy rescuing the Arabic people. and bringing them back to Kenya. And they even report to us, we rescued the one Saudi Arabian, one person coming from Ukraine. Anyway, I see Kidio saying a lol, damn lies, absolute lies. It is absolute lies. Imagine they left our people stuck there. They brought us, the Arabic people, to our countries. Imagine how sad that story is. But anyway, moving on further from that, let's get to see about Ethiopia. Yesterday, I reported about talks that were supposed to be happening today, and I believe that they are yet to kick on, or rather, they have started. But I see the Ethiopia's government and the Oromo Liberation Army rebel group are scheduled to begin peace talks in Tanzania, but there are no details about the format and of the negotiations, or who will mediate. And according to Uganda's Daily Monitor newspaper, Kenya and Norway are said to be facilitating the negotiations. Yesterday, I saw Uhuru Kenyatta got a prize of being the best peace negotiator ever in Africa. Just yesterday, he got a prize of being a peacekeeper, the best peacekeepers we have in Africa. And of course, if you have heard now, they are saying about Kenya, and also I've seen they've said about Kenya and Norway. Why is Norway involved in our negotiations again? Why is it involved in our negotiations, or rather in these negotiations? But anyway, the US and the European Union are also reportedly interested in participating in peace process. And this is why we will never have peace in Africa if we keep on involving these white beasts. If we keep on involving them in our talks, this is why peace will never become a thing in Africa. Because these people, be sure they are there even to make sure that they interrupt the peace talks, to make sure that you never regain back peace you want in your countries. Because they are the ones destabilizing your countries. They want your countries to be war-torn countries. Yet, they are the negotiators of now. They are leading the negotiations of our own peace talks. Demeke Mekonnen, Ethiopia's deputy prime minister and foreign minister, is in Tanzania, although it is unclear where he is part of the he is part of the government delegation for the talks. And the Oromo Liberation Army has been fighting the government forces in Oromia region since it split from a former rebel movement called the Oromo Liberation Front in 2018. The talks in Tanzania come about 6 months after the Ethiopian government reached a peace deal with the Tigray People's Liberation Front to end a bloody 2-year war in northern region of Tigray. We're expecting peace to return back. Yes, yet we keep on involving the Mzungus every time. And we're not even woke enough to realize that these people are the ones who bring this violence we see in African countries. We're not woke to realize that whatever is happening in Sudan, it is because of them. Whatever has been happening in Ethiopia, it is because of them. Because where do you think these people get the weapon? I remember, and I'll keep on saying this, we as the African continent, we don't manufacture even a bullet. So tell these Europeans who are coming to get into our talks to tell you where these people get the guns, because I believe they know. They quite understand where these people get the guns. They quite understand where these people get the bombs, because we don't make them here. It has to come from their countries. And I feel like, you see where we have a mice in maybe a meeting. There's a mouse in a meeting who is always taking some information to go and report back to their bosses. This is now why we have Europeans coming to intervene in our talks, coming to listen to what we're talking in our talks, so that they can go back and report to their bosses. You know, these people have said this and this, and now we need to act real quick before they put it into act. But also do remember, these people we are calling the peace negotiators, they are also puppets. People like Kenyatta. We can talk about Kenyatta being a peace keeper, while we saw what happened in the 254 during the 2007-2008. Don't be stupid. Don't be blinded. We need to wake up and realize that these people are not peacekeepers. They're just being used. They are just being used as tools to make sure that now you feel like you're home, you're safe. There's enough. They are doing enough for you. They really want peace back to your countries. But in the actual sense, it is nothing and bullshit. Man. It is crazy. Very, 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 very crazy. But anyway, do let me know what you feel about the matter. Today I've complained a lot, by the way. Do let me know what you think about the matter. And also keep interacting with me. I see Keith, you're saying 100%, exactly 100%, Katie. These people are just being used as tools to make sure that now we feel like we are safe. This is a safe space for us because we have our African people there. These people are puppets. They are just being used as tools. They are just being used. They are directed. Go this way. Say this. Say this. Maybe even those dialogues or maybe those conversations or whatever they get to do, they are written for. They have somebody who is writing for them. Their European bosses is making sure that they write everything they have to say. It is crazy and sad, but African people, we need to realize whatever we get ourselves into. But moving on, today is World Malaria Day. It was in the other day, I reported that now there's this new vaccine that has been approved to be now preventing malaria. And actually, we saw the WHO coming with it saying that, you see, we have approved this malaria vaccine. It is set to prevent us from getting malaria. We have so many people dying from malaria in Africa. Why is it only Africa? We have these vaccines, and this vaccine actually never came from Africa. This vaccine was not manufactured anywhere close to Africa. Why is it only in Africa we have malaria? Why? And why is it only in Africa you have to come and dump these vaccines? But anyway, in Kenya, more than 3.5 million people get malaria every year, according to the CDC estimates. More than 10,000 Kenyans die from it every year. And Francis Ndongo is a malaria immunologist at Cambridge Wellcome Trust. I'm seeing that even Kenya, it was which country was this where they first accepted the vaccine? It was not the first country to accept the vaccine was it Ghana? I'm not sure about that. So the Kenya is the second country to accept the malaria vaccine, and be sure it is already in use. And this is, parents, this is not the right time to take your children to be vaccinated with all these dosages. We don't know what they put in those things. So it is better if you put, or if you keep your children far from those shits. But anyway, in case of malaria, a mosquito bites, you can inject and parasite a form called sporozoites into your skin, and those sporozoites are through the lymph and the blood circulatory system and eventually ends up in the liver. So the vaccine that we are talking about, R21 Matrix M vaccine, interferes with the sporozoites, stopping them from invading the liver cells. Hope is on the horizon with a new vaccine, R21, whose preliminary results from early testing have suggested that it is far more effective than the RTS malaria vaccine, the only one currently authorized for use by the WHO. This is a new one right now they have introduced. This is a new one, far from what we've been getting or far from what people have been getting. They have now a new one and they are calling it the R21. But it is the high time we stop getting these things. It is the high time we even keep children far from those things, because we don't know what they put in that thing. I don't want to dwell on that much, because we are aware on these shots they get to bring to us. Every time they are here to destroy us. But anyway, moving on to other news and updates before we come to the end of our show for today. It is back in Sudan. Right now, Sudan is experiencing food shortages, and this is because of the war. And be sure that now when your country is in war, also the economy of the country is very bad and also destroyed. But right now, there's food shortages in the supermarkets, everywhere in the shops. People are not able to get even food. And ongoing fighting in Sudan's capital is now severely affecting food supplies, as well as disrupting access to water and electricity, according to Khartoum residents who spoke to the BBC. And one of them said, we only have enough food for 2 days. And Miss Saim added that she and her family were now reducing the amount of food they consume in the hope that their supplies last longer. And water and electricity cuts have affected many Sudanese homes since clashes began between the Rapid Support Forces and paramilitary group, Support Forces paramilitary group and the Sudanese army on the 15th of April. And the two sides have been sharing power, with the head of the army, Jan Abdel Fattah, as a de facto leader, and the head of the RSF, Mohammed Hamdan. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that now the country is fully destabilized. The economy is going to go bad. We yet even the Sudanese are yet to feel the heat. Imagine now, these people were trying to get back on their feet. Right now, they are back to square one again. They were working very hard to get back on their feet, because we know Sudan has also been not very good. We've seen they have been fighting all the time. The government has been rivaling with the civilians, because it is the army and the civilians, because we saw the army took over the government and they were not yet back to civilian rule. So the country was struggling to get back on its feet. But what is happening right now, they are back to square one, and these people are suffering. But I hope things get better for them. I don't know what else to hope, but I just hope things get better for them. Ansan Kenon, Karibu Sara, you came in late. We are ending our show. You will watch a replay of this. But anyway, to everybody who has been with us on today's episode, Asanteni Sana, to everybody who interacted. Thank you very much, Kid. Thank you. I saw Sister Michelle. Thank you, Danny Harrison, General Mosquito, Samuel, and to everybody who was with us on today's episode. Before you leave, please make sure you smash that like button, and also please make sure if you're there and you came in late like Unsunken One, please make sure you watch a replay of it and leave your comments behind if in case you have anything to add on the show. But asanteni sana to our silent listeners who are listening to me via the radio. Asanteni sana. It has been a pleasure being with you on today's episode. I hope you have gotten a thing or two, and also I hope you have enjoyed the show that I have brought unto you. But for me, I just want to wish you a lovely day ahead, but don't forget to join us on the next episode of the Rhythm Scoop Show. I see Answer Kenon, you're saying Katie is sending me Tete principal's office. To the principal's office. Yes, you need to go to the principal's office. It is not actually the principal's office. I remember the deputy principal is the one responsible for discipline in school. So you need to get to the discipline office. But I see you're saying I gave up the like. Thank you very much. And to everybody who is there with us, please make sure you smash that like button. Don't leave without smashing that like button. But anyway, get to enjoy the rest part of your day. But don't forget to join us on the next episode of the Rhythm Scope Show. Okay, I remembered we have jiggles.
Greetings and salutations, massive. Here is Andrew Robinson, all the way from Switzerland, reaching out to all my Kenyan brothers and sisters. You're tuning into. Greetings and salutations, massive. Here is Andrew Robinson, all the way from Switzerland, reaching out to all my Kenyan brothers and sisters. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
Yes, this is the Black Hot Fire Network Radio. Kwaherini.
Jiulize maswali mosi, nini nenda kukosa? Kupe mini moto ya kote mbali, jaribu takuza hali mwili yako fiche mahali. Mini mama watoto, you are my sons and daughters, Lina Park. Mziki nimewasa geto, maisha ya msoto. Jomi uno bidii na skill, kitenda Dorupe, kismat ni excellent, shughuli una feel pretender, sishtuke dosta mapenda, shipment kwa flight chapo kiatokea prima, heta kotachi nikitajwa na heshima, breathe in release mapema.